Welcome back to episode 4. In this episode, the plan is to start building the factory building so I can enclose those farms and quit having to deal with all the mobs that keep wandering into it. In order to start building though, I need to go to the mesa biome and get quite a few blocks. Been quite a while since I've been out here. I think I have a beacon somewhere, or I thought I did, maybe not. But the 2 blocks I need the most of are white terracotta and light gray terracotta. The building itself is going to be like sort of brown themed. Yeah, that's kind of the color palette I picked, was a little tan brownish. You'll see here in a little bit. Yeah, so these are the 2 blocks I need, the colors. Now I can just get regular and dye it white or dye it light gray, but I don't have a beacon out here, I guess. I don't know. I must have never brought one out here. I need to go get one first, and I don't have any, so I need to go kill some withers. With all the hoppers I've been crafting too, I'm getting pretty low on iron. I think I might have to make a iron farm at the new place in this episode too. We'll see if we can get to that though. Yeah, I've been stealing a lot from this, and since I'm not here all the time, it hasn't been replenishing either, so we're getting pretty low. I'm not exactly sure how many blocks I'm gonna need, but this should be a good start. Can always come back. I'll show you the full color palette once I get back to the farm. Alright, here's gonna be the color palette I'm going with. Granite gets a lot of hate for some reason. I'm not exactly sure why. I kind of like the way it looks with the combination of terracotta here. But yeah, I'm gonna get a rough outline going, and then I'll figure out the proportions of the building features, and then go from there. It'll make more sense once I start actually placing blocks and get a pattern going. Alright, so here's a rough outline, what I have planned. This middle part is probably gonna go up to about this height, roughly. And then these sides will be just a little bit lower. Maybe like 10-20 blocks lower. And then probably here there's gonna be a big smokestack. I think that should look pretty cool. This mountain here, I'm gonna have to shave this down to this point. I'm thinking that's gonna be a lot of work, but it'll make it look a lot better, I think. I don't really want this building to be like a part of a mountain. Kind of just want to build next to it and have this sharply slant, if that makes sense. I'll get the building here and I'll be back with an update. The outline's coming together and I got the proportions of the smaller features how I want them. The plan with this light gray terracotta was to mix in the andesite. I'm not sure if I should do that right away or do it after. But yeah, this shape will go back into the farm about 2/3 of the way, and then it'll end, and then I'll have another feature on the backside that'll look a little bit different. But yeah, I'll keep on keeping on here. It's coming together. I've never built like this before, where you do the outline first and then fill it in as you go. I watched Wells Knight do this on Hermitcraft with his castle, and I kind of like it. This is the first time doing it, and I don't know, it's going good. But yeah, I got the whole outline done here, and now I need to fill these walls in. But yeah, it's coming together pretty good. It was really plain right now. I need to do some texturing, but you can see I started there a little bit. It's quite a bit smaller than I thought it would be, but I don't mind, I guess. It still looks proportionally correct. So, and I think I'm gonna put the smokestack in the back, and it'll probably go about this high. But yeah, I filled in this complete side, put this here, but I didn't do any of this, and I'm already completely out of light gray terracotta. This is all I have left. So yeah, it's quite a few blocks to place yet, but we're getting there. Hey there. It's been a while since I hit record, but the building's done, for the most part. I kind of just busted out the whole build, and now I've been doing the tedious texturing stuff, but I'm liking how it's going so far. I added these to the side because it really looked plain, and it's kind of like to copy the front with this little texturing. Now, the original plan was to do the whole building like this, where I mix the granite in with the terracotta. And after I did this, I'm not the biggest fan of it. I think it looks better when I do something like this instead, because otherwise it looks really plain. That's kind of the problem with using terracotta alone. But yeah, so I'm gonna replace all this with the terracotta, and then maybe try and blend this at the bottom, kind of like what I started doing here. I'm still torn between doing this and just leaving it plain. You can see from a distance it's not that noticeable, but I do like how it transitioned between the terracotta and the granite walls. Here's another view of it. It does look kind of basic, but I'm referencing a real life power plant is the image I'm kind of looking at to build this, and it's no cathedral by any means. I mean, it's not supposed to be the most beautiful thing. It's supposed to be just a power plant. On the inside here, I haven't done hardly anything. Detailing the inside and making this so it's not just floating in the air, and actually finishing this cactus farm here. Those are all the finer details that I think are going to take quite a bit longer. Started doing some stuff. I like how these lights look up there. Keep the walls from being so dark. Oh, I could show this at night too. This glowstone I think really adds something too to help light up the building. Because you gotta imagine too, if this were a power plant at night, it's not gonna be dark out here. They're gonna have it lit up. And you can see the copper rails at the top. I'm gonna wait till they all oxidize one stage. So they'll be like that. I think that looks quite a bit better. So I'll wax all these as they oxidize. But yeah, I put the roof on. Again, it's still really plain, needs some work, but basic structure is there. And then the other thing I spent a lot of time on, way longer than I thought I would, is the terraforming on the edges here. I really got into a rhythm with like following the contours here. It was overwhelming to try and accomplish it right away, but once you get going, it's not so bad. But I also got to replace all the stone with grass or moss. I mean, it's going to be a lot easier to just moss bone meal it, but I'm not quite sure what I want to do yet. But then the other big piece that I terraformed is over here. Made this blend a little bit sharper. It looks a little bit weird right here. It got pretty flat, but I'm really liking how this kind of bends around the corner here. Yeah, there's still quite a bit of work to do, but it's coming together. And then these gray pillars, I think I might add them on this backside or do the granite ones like I did over there. Not going to be back here looking at this side so much, so it's not that big of a deal if it stays kind of plain. But yeah, I think I'm going to put the smokestack back here, and it'll come up pretty high, probably above the level of that nether portal. But yeah, it's coming together pretty good. I blew through my picks, so now I can kind of show how this farm is going to work. It's out of fuel right now because I haven't fixed the kelp crafting yet, but yeah, this is all it's going to do. Lock a hopper, and it should be enough XP in just this one to repair both these picks at the same time. Yep, just like that. And I got 3 levels from it, so yeah, I also realized I could lock these and just let the cactus flow through because I had a surplus. Not because I had a surplus, but only this one was running half the time. Every once in a while, a cactus would flow in here, but now I locked it and just ran these 4. I might have actually taken this one out already, but we can repair the shovel here, I think. Yeah. And then when I come back in a few hours or something, I could be able to do that again. Yeah, so I'm going to continue working on these little details here on the side. Make it look a little bit better and clean some things up on the inside. And then I think I need to start dealing with villagers here. I captured a few zombies I need to convert. But it'll be a bit before I can get to that. So I started working on this path here, and an idea kind of struck me. after I built the path and I started terraforming this, I ended up having to build this up quite a bit. And then the idea that hit me all of a sudden was this water is really deep on the edge here. And it's pretty deep there, but it's also really deep along these edges of these cliffs. So the idea I had was, why not create like a deep water port here? We already have a factory behind us. Wouldn't it be pretty cool if there was like a ship here? A cargo ship or something? And then I have had the idea of filling the cargo ship with traders that are coming to visit. So I could put like farmers in there or whatever types of villagers I want to put in there. So instead of having this path be 5 blocks, I think I'll go a little bit more so that the inside, like these 3 will be 5 and it'll be out here more. And then make it kind of curve around a little bit and then line up back at that corner. And then I'll just have straight edges that go straight down into the water, so it'll look like a ship can pull up next to it, and it'll be like a little dock area here. I don't know, I think it'll look pretty cool. But then I was also thinking, if I'm gonna put villagers in the ship that I build, I need to do something with this space here. So I'm thinking I'll probably build a pumpkin farm in here, and then also maybe like a moss farm somewhere in this corner. I would have room to do both of them, because I can go all the way to the ceiling and then go quite a ways down too. But yeah, I think it would be a pretty cool idea to have like a boat parked out front, ready to receive some stuff or drop some stuff off. Yeah, we'll see how far I get with that. I gotta go get some villagers rounded up first. Here's kind of the idea I was going for here, just to make this like a retaining wall that goes down into the water. I need to add a little bit more deep slate down there to try and blend it better. And then I'll probably go a little bit farther this direction and maybe make this like a little beach landing almost. We'll see. But yeah, I'm gonna basically copy this along this side here. And then if I get around to building a boat at some point, it'll be right around here. If it's overlapping the farm, it's not too big of a deal, because this thing needs to shrink anyway, so kill 2 birds with 1 rock if I do that. And also that pipe needs to be moved as well, because it's not going in the building at the right spot. So if I have to slide it over or whatever, this shouldn't be a problem. I realized I need to quit starting projects and getting them like an 1/8 done and before moving on, so I decided to finish the wall. I think it's looking good. I did the tough kind of blending from the top to make it look like it's a little algae or something. I don't know. I think it looks cool. But then yeah, I added some deep slate at the bottom, try and blend it in from the dark. I'll probably shave this back a little bit more, but I like how it's looking. I'll add a railing on it too. But yeah, I wrapped it all the way around. And then for the bottom here, I'll probably just blend it down into the wall. Like it'll be an overhang almost. And then I can add some lighting down there too. I think that'll look cool. But I think these corners, I might add redstone lamps with daylight sensors on them. That might look a little more aesthetically pleasing. But yeah, it's looking good. Oh, we're not completely done. But and then I finished the path all the way around. I'm realizing that like with gray, you can get carried away if you use too many blocks. Like I still could have used smooth stone here and gravel, but it just gets to be too much. But then if you do just 1 block, it looks odd. So I think it turned out alright. I think next I'm gonna actually get to those villagers I keep talking about. Alright, I got a second villager curing over there too. This thing hasn't been working for a while. Or, I don't think it ever worked. And I think what's wrong is I need to put hoppers over here instead. Underneath the beehive. Which shouldn't be terrible to fix, but... now it should work. If I reset it. Maybe. I don't know why they're going back up into the dispenser. This thing, I need to like deal with. It is way too much here. I need to wait till dark and probably just put those bees in the hive. Or pick them up so they're not there anymore. Or switch it to honey. I'm not really sure what to do. But yeah, it's overflowing. What I don't like about honeycomb blocks is you can't craft them back into honeycomb. So, in storing honeycomb blocks, I mean, unless you're gonna build with them, I don't see the point. Let's go check on our villagers. I think for the villagers, I checked both of them. They're cured. I think up here on this mountain, I'm gonna make like a building that kind of goes into the mountain. That's where I'm gonna set up a villager breeder in there. I just want to do it up there just to build on the mountain. It's the only reason I want to do it there. But it would make a lot of sense to get something set up inside the mountain here. And I got all this space in here. And I really haven't done anything other than this lab and that like oozing farm. I'll have to think about it for a bit. I want to build outside just because the views, but it kind of makes more sense to build in here. We'll see what I decide. Now that I come up here, I pretty much decided to do it here. I mean, just look at that view. Kind of like the long-term plan of this world is to have this whole valley full of like buildings. Well, not like full of buildings, but full of like farms and little houses and useful stuff spread through the valley. And that's why I kind of started down here with the factory. I'm just gonna try and inhabit that way through this huge valley and then up to the tops of these mountains. And it's nice that that mountain is hollowed out, but unless I have a really good reason to build in there, I kind of want to avoid it, just so I'm forced to start building things out here. Because that's the end goal, is to have everything outside. I'm going to have to make a path and probably a bridge down to the factory from the storage room. And then I'm going to go into this mountain, bridge across to that island over there. And then there'll be something up here, I would imagine. But yeah, I mean, we're going to have a path coming up here. Probably like a water elevator or something. And there's going to eventually be a bridge across, I would imagine. Yeah, lots of plans, but all this stuff just takes time. Gotta be patient and enjoy it. Hello there. I've been kind of busy off camera. I haven't been recording a whole lot. But we've got a lot done here. So, I went and gathered up all the different types of villagers. If you remember the goals or some of the projects I had planned were to get all the cartographers, all the different types, and that involves getting all the different biomes of villagers. So far I got 4, and I'm missing the taiga one. But in order to get all the cartographers, I decided to make breeders for all the different villagers. And I wanted to sort of automate this process here. So here's the 4 village breeders I have so far. Now this is the snowy taiga, I think. The plains, savanna, and then the desert. Now, I have these all shut off right now, but flipping this lever you can turn the farms back on and they'll start breeding again because they'll think they can get to the beds and they'll try and fill it. Now I added these rail systems here so I can automatically get the villagers out and into like this trading hall setup. I tested it with one here, but so these lights and levers mean if it's on that the spot is open, basically, meaning the minecart will come down here. If it's off, it'll go to the next one. So yeah, the plan is to fill this all with cartographers and then try and get all the unique maps. But I'll also use this for like prepping farmers. Bring them in here and trade with them to get the right trades. And if I don't get them, well, move them somewhere. But yeah, this should make it a lot easier. Now this wall back here, plan with this is to, up here I'll have buttons that'll activate the different dispensers, one for each of the farms. So I'll have like desert, savanna, taiga, plains, and then snowy taiga. And then here I'll have the same button setups, but these will turn on and off the farms. Because right now I have to manually do it. I'm hoping I can get all that redstone to fit in here. I just have to use probably a lot of repeaters. But yeah, I tested it. It worked already. And yeah, this rail just goes up. And like I said, if this is on, the rail will turn like this and the minecart will go in that spot. But if it's off, it'll skip over. And it just loops around here. Yeah, comes back to this end. Now, something I found out after making this is that the parent villagers only have a 50% chance of creating the same biome villager if they're in a different biome. Since these guys are snowy taiga, but we're in a plains biome, they only have a 50% chance of creating a snowy taiga offspring. So this system will allow me to kind of like filter through them a little bit easier. You can see like there's a plains guy in here too. I don't think there is in here. Yep, there's one in here too. These guys escaped and then a zombie came in here, turned them into zombies, so then I turned them back. Had to do it twice, so I'm gonna save them. Probably put them down in the boat down by the port. But yeah, this should help quite a bit with get all the cartographer maps. I think the next step is to make a building at the front of this. Like how this turned out. All this copper is gonna oxidize all the way, so it'll be like the green blue. Yeah, out here I plan to make like a building that protrudes out to about like here or so, and then it can act like a storefront almost. And maybe I'll have like some unique villagers in the front of the building. Before I end the episode here, I figured I might as well put up a building quick. Since I decided to do that, I figured I'd do a little voiceover here, kind of explain what I'm trying to do here with the villagers. As many of you know, dealing with villagers is extremely fun, trying to move them around. If you can't tell, that's sarcasm. It can be kind of a pain. But what I did learn from this is using scaffolding, boats, elytra, and leads makes this process so easy. And what also made it super easy to move them around quickly was my nether setup, like with the highways. Now you don't need that, even though it makes it a lot easier. I mean, all you need is elytra and scaffolding. Get them in a boat, hook the lead up to the boat, put scaffolding as high as you can, and you could just slowly fly them back to wherever you're trying to take them. You could avoid the nether altogether if you wanted to. But my setup here, I just quickly got them in the nether, and then I was able to drive them where I needed to. Yeah, I mean, it was pretty easy dealing with them. But the plan with them is to really not exploit the cartographers, but use the cartographers a lot. Now, if any of you played before oozing was a thing, you would know that chunk base was kind of needed to make a slime farm. And something I realized is like, where do you stop with chunk base? I mean, do you use it to find trial chambers? Do you use it to find witch huts, bastions? I mean, where do you draw the line? So my idea is that I'm just going to use cartographers for as much as I can, and pretty much never use chunk based. Not that I'm against using it, I just, since this world is vanilla Minecraft and it's locked on hard, I just feel like it's something you might as well do, in my opinion. And it makes it more interesting. It gives you something to work towards, I think. But yeah, I don't have anything against chunk based. It's just, I've never really used a lot of cartographers before. So another thing that's going to make it really nice with these breeders and this minecart setup is the farmers. Like, I'm going to need quite a few farmer villagers here in the next episode probably, because I need iron and I need to get emeralds for the cartographers. So I need to get a bunch of farmers to trade pumpkins with, and just being able to move them quickly around in minecarts is going to be so much easier than like getting them in boats and moving around one by one. Yeah, I'm thinking in the next episode I at least need an iron farm, and I need to get more emeralds, because to trade with these cartographers it takes quite a bit of emeralds and paper. Which I got paper, but yeah, the emeralds are going to be the hard part. Especially because like the cartographers, you don't want to cure them, in my opinion. Because once you get the map, that's it. You don't need them anymore. They don't give you unique maps every time you trade with them. You have to get a new cartographer for that. So Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna cure any of them, but that just means I have to get a bunch of emeralds. But yeah, this building, I decided to use mud. I've never used mud before, and in order to do that, I had to make like a little mud farm setup. This is just a real simple thing where you place dirt and it dispenses a water bottle on it. But yeah, I like mud. I think I'm gonna use it more for like pathing and stuff like that. But this house I'm building isn't gonna be like the biggest or most extravagant. It's kind of just supposed to be a small building that kind of covers the hole and blends into the mountain. I could have just left the hole, I guess, but I figure I might as well put a building here just to make it look somewhat nice. As for the farmer villagers I plan to get, I need to make like another chamber underneath that trading hall I have set up right now. And I'll trade with the farmers to make sure they get the pumpkin trade, and then I'll drop them down to a different minecart setup, and that'll probably go down pretty far, and then it'll have a track that goes over to the factory I built. And then when I build the boat, then I should be able to easily put them in the boat, I'm hoping. And then yeah, the pumpkin farm will go in the factory too. But here's the finished product. I think it turned out pretty good. I wasn't originally gonna use tuff for the roof, but as I was building it, I realized that I think it looked a lot better than the andesite setup I was gonna do. But yeah, inside there's not much here. Traded with the cartographers a little bit and got this map set up. Here's the factory, here's the house, obviously. Yeah, I'm excited to explore more with the cartographers. But yeah, here's another crazy thing I built. The smokestack for the factory. Now, I put the lights inside the glass because I thought it would look better. I think I might move them out. And then I need to blend this a little bit better in this area. Yeah, it's looking good. It got a little bit taller than I wanted it to, but I still think it looks pretty good. But yeah, that's going to do it for this episode. If you made it this far, thanks for watching. Keep an eye out for episode 5 if you're interested in what I do with the villagers.